You know, what we've been doing with TNS Media is bringing together all the components of the marketing mix that we measure. So we're trying to make it easier. It's going to take a while because it's not all on one dashboard. Sometimes that's too overwhelming. We're trying to bring more and more assets together and become more of an arms dealer so we can not just sell directly to media companies, agencies, and advertisers, but also through channel partners like Omniture, like Miller Brown, like others. Do you think advertisers, let's just take that one category. Do you think they need more of that in the future, or do they need? I think they still need more vendors bringing in multiple. So you know, taking it to a platform level and bringing more products through one. I think they need. Content.
I think they need it digestible. I mean, that's my sense. So you know, it's the old holy grail. You know, like how much should I spend and where should I spend it? So what you want is to be able to come in the morning or when you're at home at night. You know, press a button and see how much have I spent. Where have I spent it? Is there a marginal improvement if I shift, you know, X million from one medium to another, or if I cut, you know, the overall spend? That's the holy grail, and we've been searching for that at WPP. I think Group M, Kantar, you know, plus TNS, WPP Digital, Wunderman, Ogilvy One, G2. RMG Connect. These are all the assets.
Powerful assets.
Yeah, that you know, Blast Radius, Quasar in India, Schematic, Blue, Agenda. All these, you know, this is the problem. Is how do you? It comes back to one of your previous questions. How do you meld that together into a concrete whole? That clients can see the delivery. It's what I said. You know, it's all very well having the strategy. It's about the implementation. So clients can say, "Oh my God, you take dynamic logic, which is part of Millward Brown. You know, which in terms of internet measurement and absorbed now into Millward Brown, and they've done very, very well. But we haven't quite got to where we can do the media portfolio management, the media investment management as effectively as I think we should."
Last question. We talked a lot about the conference today about kind of managing through the downturn, and I was trying to get people to think about, you know, take advantage of the trough. So when you come out, you're a much stronger brand when there is the next. I'm a big believer in the next recovery. It's a question of when and how much in the trajectory, and does it come back through tech or through other sectors? But if you were to give the group kind of one last piece of advice about what's the best thing to take advantage of over the next year as you're
I think it's what I tried to say in there, and so I think don't get put off the strategy. I mean, I do think that companies that, you know, I think founder companies are different. I mean, when I say founder controlled, I mean where they have control.
Josh was evidence of that. You certainly are.
Well, but I don't have control.
Well,
I wish I did, but I don't. But you know, I think the tendency is to get blown off course, right? So you have, you know, let's take our sorry. So it's new markets, new media, and consumer insight. I mean, it's very clear. It might be wrong, by the way, but it's very clear.
It's simple.
It's very simple, and don't get blown off it. I mean, in other words, we are going to, you know, even this year, we'll continue to invest in India and China and Brazil. Russia will continue, and then the next 11. We'll continue to invest in our digital abilities, creativity. Going back to Randy's comments, platforms and the like. And we'll continue to invest in consumer insight. And so a project that has, you know, a new market, new media, consumer insight project has the highest chances of being.
That's a bingo.
Yeah, that's a real bingo. Any one of those three is acceptable, but I think if it has two or three of them, obviously so. So I think the biggest problem at the moment is people are being blown off course, and I think they're being blown off course for understandable reasons. I don't think in the long run they're the right reasons, because going back to what you said, and I think you agree with this, you know, those people who invest, those people invest in innovation, right?
Big time.
Other people are going to win, and you know, consumer insight is key for innovation. The new media and the new markets are key for distribution of those brilliant ideas, which are then converted into products and services. So I think it's maintaining the course at a time when everybody else is throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Exactly,
and as you said on stage, you know, easy to talk about, hard to do. I was with John Chambers, CEO of Cisco, a couple of weeks ago, and John has always had this, you know, this rudder, this tenacity. Fortunately, with a high growth tech sector, what can we learn from the tech sector about, you know, doing acquisitions in the trough? They're buying companies much cheaper, but they are continuing. They are not getting off course so much on the core stuff, but you do see them
Well,
expanding more
he
into
has
a
more
consumer
than 30
company.
billion in cash sitting on his balance sheet, so he's in a
Microsoft, Google, they've all got massive balance
massive,
sheets.
Microsoft have raised another $4 billion.
It's probably a
debt.
bad example of it because they have so much cash. But
Well,
just,
no, I think
but tech is. I just believe. I've always had a foot in Silicon Valley and Madison Avenue. I just think learning from tech and how we kind of bring it back to the Madison Avenue model is a mystery sometimes. And
yeah, no, I think that's fair comment. I think if tech, well, somebody asked in the conference about which sectors, or actually asked which clients. So I didn't want to name clients, but which sectors. I think tech has been probably more consistent now. I mean, one of our big tech clients is increasing its spend. It was one of the only pieces of good news that came out of our reviews over the last couple of weeks, but in one of our big advertising agencies. And I think there are some signs of increased confidence, but it's rare. That would be a rare example of somebody who's willing to commit. John Chambers, we have a big relationship with Cisco,
sure.
is and I was at his CEO-CIO conference a few weeks ago in Kiwa Island. I mean, here's an example of somebody who consistently, persistently pursues his strategic objectives and doesn't get blown, of course. So that they bought the video company Blick.
Mm-hmm. Right.
When we just announced it the day that we were in Kiwa Island. So I think he is a good example, and I expect him to be spending his cash mountain. I'm sure he'll be making some interesting investments at a time when everybody else is strapped.
Yeah. Well, we hope tech will be part of the recovery.
Well, I think it will be. I mean, financial services will come back. I mean, it
always does.
We never really suffered that much. I mean, we have 3 in our top 30, and I think it's top 30, and even this year, one's up, one's about constant, and one's down. But they'll come back. The leisure, the real estate and hotels companies will come back, travel will come back.
A little slower.
Yeah.
Automotive.
And tech. Automotive, well,
Major.
somebody was saying to me in the Chrysler plan that's been filed by the government, by the oversight, they cut the ad budgets or the marketing budgets in half. I mean, the simple fact of the matter is that's great news for Ford and GM, because, or certainly for Ford, because they're careful, and quite rightfully they're careful, but it's all very well designing the great cars and trucks that you or I will buy, but then you've got to market them.
Exactly.
And so they have to put, now new media offers you the example to do it more cheaply, probably more effectively, but
More targeted.
you've got to do the whole thing. So I think that's interesting. So they will come back. It's only a question of time.